Hi, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Dateable Podcast. We are here to be in this together so nobody feels alone in this dating journey because we know dating can be not so easy these days, right, Julie?
Uh, Slightly. I don't know. What made you think that, Yue? I thought it was a
Just
walk in the
slightly.
park, right? A piece of cake.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. Everyone's super happy.
You could cue the sarcasm if you can't already tell, but we are so excited because this is Yue's favorite thing to say, but I'm going to steal your thunder for 1 second. We are officially dateable today.
Officially, the misspelling has come true for us. Looking at data, you all love data. We've seen our episodes where we talk about the science of dating, the psychology of dating, the numbers behind dating. You all love this shit, and we do too. So you're going to really love this episode.
Yes, and we have a great guest today. His name is, what's his last name? Michael K. Okay. His name is Michael K, and he is the head of PR and communications at OKCupid. And OKCupid, in my opinion, is kind of the OG of having data. Like, I think of their blog and how, or at least publishing data. Like, probably Match and all the other ones had it, but they weren't as transparent with the data. So when we got the opportunity to speak to Michael, he was more than excited, and that was his thing, was to talk about all the data and all the points. And, you know, what better way at a dating app, because they get to see, you know, like what's showing up in profiles, and they have mass numbers to look at trends.
They can see behaviors. They can see trends in profiles. They can see who's matching with whom and what profiles get more matches. He has all that data, but I think more importantly, we talk about the difference between dating, let's say 5, 6, 10 years ago to now, and the changes in online dating, the trends that we see there. It's always good to see how far we've come, but also how far we have to go with dating.
Always. I was like, can I? Yeah, this isn't sponsored by them. I'm gonna do it. You know what's really interesting? I actually saw that Tinder has a toy, like a sex toy shop that they've opened in Japan. Have you seen this?
What? A brick and
There's
mortar?
an article. Yes. There's an article that I saw. I don't even know where this came up. That either someone posted it in our Facebook group or it just came into, like, you know, on your phone when it looks at what you've been searching for a lot and will recommend articles on the Google homepage. Maybe it was there. Or Twitter. Who knows? But I saw this article about how Tinder was setting up this brick and mortar shop in Japan, just selling sex toys. Like, that was their whole thing.
Interesting pivot or addition to their business model. I don't get that because it's brick and mortar. It's in Japan. There must be a business case for it, but I don't really understand that.
Maybe it's a test market. It'll be coming to the US soon. Who knows?
Does the sex toy swipe? You know, does it do stuff for? I guess it's hookup, Tinder's hookup, and then you can now hook up with sex toys. Yeah, I'm trying to make the connection here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what comes out of that. I think with all of this, as we're talking about dating apps, as we're talking about dating, and we're talking about the business of dating, I think end of the day, just to put it all in perspective, is I have to say this again. We are so privileged to be where we are in dating. As much as we can complain about dating and the clusterfuck that is the dating industry, we are so lucky to have the choice in who we want to love and be with. I was at a wedding last weekend, and it was a gay wedding. And during their vows, one of the grooms said, I just have to say this right now, is when I was a kid, I never thought this day would be possible. I never thought I could come public with my love for other men. And I never thought I would have the opportunity to legally marry. And that was just it's not that long ago that we
No,
restricted.
we forget that. Yeah.
Right? That your choices in the matter of the heart were restricted by law. And now we're at a point where there is full freedom to find love and to love whoever we want. So yes, we can complain about, again, this clusterfuck that is dating, but we have to ground ourselves in the fact that we are so privileged to be where we are.
Yeah, I think what put it in perspective for me, Michael brought this up on the episode too, because he is a gay man and met his partner on a dating app. And it also makes me think of your friends. Did they meet on a dating app that you just went to their wedding?
Yes, they did.
Yep. Okay. So them. And then it also makes me think of the episode we did with Rob, your friend from last season. And I think in all of these situations, I don't think it like until talking to all these folks really registered to me fully. This is like, you know, my heteronormative view here is like how difficult it can be to find people like you. And, you know, especially depending on what environment you're in. Like one of my friends, he moved, actually a past guest also, he moved to Montana and he's like, yeah, there are like no gay people here. But with a dating app, it extends your reach dramatically. And, you know, even if you are straight, like I was thinking about this myself, like before I met my partner on Hinge, like I was at an age that a lot of my friends were coupled off. I didn't really want to go to the bar scene, like go out to bars all the time. And when I did, it wasn't like I met people that were quality dates. A lot of times the people were like half my age or just like completely fucked up and, you know, looking for hookup, or maybe they were looking for more, but the context we were meeting in, it just like wasn't the right context at all. Plus it gets exhausting to have to go out every single night. So I feel like, you know, we kind of like over romanticize meeting in the wild, meeting in real life. And, you know, it doesn't have to be an either or. We're definitely not saying that. But I really feel like sometimes we don't give apps enough credit of the benefits of what they do for us, because there's no way I would have ever met my partner in that world. There's no way. Absolutely no way.
We hear some of you complaining, like, I've dated half of Manhattan, you know, or I've dated everybody in my city. Well, you are fucking lucky that you've had the choice of dating all these people. I mean, for a lot of our gay audience, they couldn't say that. Right. You know, just a few years ago, they had to go to specific locations and bars and be introduced by friends to feel safe enough to meet others who are also looking for the same things. But as heterosexual daters, we haven't had these limitations. So yeah, if you're like, oh, I'm so frustrated, I've dated pretty much everybody in my city, well then count your blessings, you know, that you have this choice.
Exactly. And Yue and I have alluded before, we have a secret project that we are hard at work on. And one of the things that it's done it has opened us up to more daters, to talk to other people that may not be the stereotypical audience of current dateable. And what we're finding is a lot of them are really anti-apps, don't want to use apps, but then they barely go on dates. And that's the downside of it, right? It's like we firmly don't believe dating is a numbers game. We've said that over and over again. But that being said, you still have to meet people. Like if you have one person that you're meeting all year, that's a lot of pressure for that one person. It can't be like you just have no one coming into your orbit. Like I don't think that's what we mean about it's not a numbers game. It's maybe like a rectified statement that it's like it needs to be a little bit of a numbers game to at least get enough people that you can like meet people and see what develops.
Yeah, seriously, we can't sit there and passively complain if we're not active in the game. It's so easy to complain passively. That is the default method for everyone, but it is a lot harder to make an effort and to be actively participating. So we just have to check ourselves. We always say this, right? Like if you're complaining about something, check yourself first. We're just asking you to check yourselves first before you wreck yourself. That's how the song goes.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Need like a scratch. You gotta check yourself.
Did we just age ourselves too? I wonder if Gen Zers we even know what that reference is, but whatever. Look it up. Google will tell you.
It's okay. I saw like a statement of people that were complaining about dating apps, like someone being like, okay, boomer. It's like, that's the reality in today's world, that's where most people meet. It is very baffling to me when people are always like, I don't know what I'd ever say on a dating app. It's like, just go with it. You know, this isn't archaic and weird anymore. And I don't want to minimize it. I know it's hard. And there was a recent New York Times article that came out. And you see that one about like how some people have been at it for 5 years plus, and it really sucks your soul. And, you know, if that's the case, like I don't believe it's the dating apps. I really believe there's something deeper going on. And that doesn't mean it's like there's a problem with you or anything like that. I don't mean that, but it's worth like taking a step back from dating apps and probably dating in general if you're in that headspace, and realizing like what is kind of that, what is holding you back. And it's typically not the app dynamic. You know, it's all about the headspace of how we feel going into these. And, you know, maybe you do realize that dating apps aren't for you. Like, we're not going to say you have to use dating apps. We're never going to say that, but just realize you are cutting off a big source of meeting people in today's world.
It's kind of the car analogy, if you think about it. Dating apps are a vehicle for meeting people, but you still have to drive that vehicle. Yeah. We can't
It's not a self-driving car yet. Yeah.
If we're hitting things and getting into accidents, it is the driver's fault, not the car's fault. So the car opened up our geographic limitations so we can drive to farther places and explore different parts of our city. But the driver needs to be a good driver in order to navigate that route. And if you get stuck along the way because you keep hitting the curb or you're hitting people's houses, that's on you, right? That's on you, boo. So think about that. Like, we are the drivers of dating apps. Dating apps are there to work for us. And if you feel like it's working against you, you as a driver is doing something to make it work against you.
I love the quote, choose your hard, because that really is what it comes down to. Dating apps aren't easy. Like, no one is going to say that they can't be an ego blow. No one is going to say it's fun to sit there and swipe all day. That's hard. It sucks. It's hard. But also going on no dates, not meeting anyone, resorting to, or even just, let's say, even just going out to networking events and bars and social functions. That's hard too. That's a lot of energy. So it's, how do you choose what that hard is?
Yeah. We did another interview. It's a future episode, but I think this guest said it so well. He said, I've been using dating apps as a way of learning more about myself. And he turned it into a personal development exercise. So I think that's just so energizing to see it in that way. And it's like on every swipe and every interaction, what am I observing about myself? And this just creates a much more energetic feeling around the apps versus like having it drain your energy and your soul.
Okay, we have been, praising the apps. I will say, though, why haven't they been updated in 10 years? Right. Tinder just hit its 10-year anniversary. 2012, crazy. I was one of the proud first users. But the whole structure of swiping on a face, that has not changed in 10 years.
No.
And, I am all for dating apps. I think they're a great vehicle to meet people outside of your range. That being said, do I think that the most effective way is to sit there and swipe on faces? Probably not. I think what we're saying is, like, let's work with the tools we have. That being said, I would love for someone to innovate in this space, because I think it's ripe for innovation, because it's not the most natural. It's not the most fun. Like, what if, oh my God, this is my idea and I really want someone to do it, and I'm putting it out there because I don't even care if you take credit. I just want someone to do it. Like, what if you were in a coffee shop and you could like set your alert, or a bar, anywhere that you're like open to chat, or there's some way that you can like see the person, even if it's on the screen, and if it's a mutual match, you're there in person to go like meet them on that minute. And, I think Tinder kind of started with some geolocale, and you could argue that might have been a failure. But what if there's ways to kind of like cross technology, the digital world, with the real world a little more? I feel like there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, there was an app a long time ago, Julie. I remember it would basically alert you of all the people on the app near you.
Happen, was that it?
Or was it Happen? I feel
I
like
know
it was
which one
something
you're
even
talking
before
about.
that, and you kind of like have to scroll through. But what backfired was that I lived in New York at the time, so there's 50 people at any given moment that are right next to me. And what happened was, it's like you feel like it's an invasion of privacy, because you are going to keep running into these people because they are your neighbors. They live on top of you. So that was kind of the pushback. But I'm so on board with you saying the daters are thirsty for something new. There is pushback because some of us are just a little bit afraid to try that something new. There was another app I heard about called Swarm. Have you heard about this one? Where your photo's pixelated, and the more you chat, the less pixelated your photos get. So it's less on the visuals.
Cool. Yeah.
It's cool, but it takes a certain personality to say, I'm ready for something new to try. It's like beta testers, right? Not every dater is a beta tester. They want to go to what's tried and true. So maybe that's what it is. We just have to have this group of beta testers, maybe within the Dateable group, and just go out there and be brave and try these new apps that are coming out.
The more we're talking about it, I feel like there were others too that just they basically shut down because they didn't have a user base. There was that one where your friends would swipe for you. I forget what it was called. But yeah, you're right. There have been some innovations there. Yeah, I think I still think there could be something hybrid real world. I think that would be the ideal. I think the ones you were saying, it's still too far of a fetch to be like, I'm on the same street, I'm just going to start talking. Or I'm going to start talking. I feel like you need to be in the same environment. 500 brunches, I feel like was a great idea. It was horrible to run. And, it definitely wasn't my calling. Logistics. And I think that's why Grouper stopped. That was also a great idea. That was the one where 3 friends went out with another 3 friends. I feel like if someone could get the logistics down with this stuff, there could be more ripe in-person type meeting fueled by digital devices.
Okay, if you're thinking about dating apps, we just gave you some really great free advice and
all those app developers that are our target audience listeners here. If it's like if you build it, they'll come, right? There you go. If you're complaining about dating,
we'll come. If you build it, we'll come, and we'll bring our people, because we know our listeners are brave and courageous. And speaking of brave and courageous, we just relaunched our 22-day dating app challenge, a challenge that's designed for you to use the dating apps for you, and an opportunity for us to look at your profiles and give you one-on-one feedback. So we have not launched this in a while. We think now, with the beginning of cuffing season, with the weather turning, the season turning, that this is such a great opportunity to just revamp the way you look at dating apps. This is not just about your profile, though. It's about your mindset. It's about how you use it. It's about messaging. It's like the whole gamut of the online dating experience. So that is on live right now through the end of October.
Michael definitely inspired us to restart this. We were talking about cuffing season. I think one of the myths that was busted for me is that cuffing season is everywhere, in the sense that people, even if it's not cold where you are, people want that connection over the holidays and so forth. And he was talking about how we all know that the first Sunday of January is the busiest day on dating apps. He also said the weeks between Halloween and Thanksgiving are also super, super popular and a lot of activity. So that's why we were like, this is the perfect time to relaunch this dating app challenge. Like, let's get you set up. Let's get you ready to go. Like you always said, it's a lot about just how do you optimize using dating apps in a way that makes it more fun, makes it more enjoyable, but we'll also review your profile. So there's a lot of really great stuff in this challenge, and you can go to findingyourperson.com/apps and sign up today, and it'll be live until the end of October. So we only have this for 1 month, again, to set you up before the busy season.